Well, guys, this is JRTV Live. Wanted to touch base for a brief amount of time, share with you a little art, and also some opinions on ongoing life circumstances in the material realm as we are. I think this art is nice. When you look closely, you see, for example, a lady not smiling. I've noticed, hey, Mr. Nani, I've noticed numerous art regarding showcasing people who are not in smiling and enjoy, and whether it's photography or beyond. Here, Doc, I really think there is powerful imagery in the smile, or in the other case, the no smiling. Some nice galaxy here. In any case, the idea and concept of school shootings and other conflict in general, the way you explain or analyze these things is by looking into the details. Like, what are the things that lead up to it, the energies that build up to gradually this person wants to explode, and either in a destructive acts towards themselves and other people. So I'll address the matters of suicide, and I'll also take a look at I'll take a look at this idea of attacking other people and why it happens. And first of all, I want to present the idea of something being truth or normal. Hey, Frederick. Hey, Jello. This is going to be a brief summarization. I've got other activities for the day, but just wanted to do a little share, little analysis, and a little light work. And like I was saying, guys, there's this concept, okay, of truth, and of what happens is actually true. Hey, God. Hey, Cody. So the concept of truth is like, here's an example of truth. A guy, shot a bunch of people, at a school or a mosque. That's a true event. So, although I think some people it's best to humiliate, kill people who are, these criminals, these societal social deviants who act out on their impulses, be it pedophilia, be it other acts of aggression, which we really I don't think we really. That's a nice Inspiration building. They sell lots of furniture there. We don't. The idea of truth is that the person who did it really wanted to. Hey, best. The person who did it really wanted to do it, and that there's a meaningfulness behind their rationale. Like they like, for example, when people are, hey there, John. That when people are racist, for example, it's not like a random thing. It's based upon a either perceived or assumed or misinformation of a truth, but it is a true event that's occurring. Hey, corporations. Eddie, yeah, so we're gonna, like I said, I'm doing a little breakdown here, analysis, and then I'll do some light work, and then I'll conclude, have an agenda here. So basically, guys, I'm gonna pause from watching the comments for a moment. Hey, fitness, and just try to do my little routine here. All right, so the mentality, okay, of someone, sometimes it's easier to relate to people or situations if you think about maybe something you've done that's aggressive, like even something as small as take a pencil at work. Hey, worshiper. Good one. Whatever. Or maybe you've thought in your mind, maybe you've conceived of killing someone, or at least taking vengeance of them, maybe breaking their car window or just anything, maybe stealing from them because they took from you. You know, a lot of times hey Hank, a lot of times the concept of vengeance is not utilitarian. It doesn't benefit the individual because it just ends up getting them in a cycle of karma, a negative one, where they in turn might be imprisoned. They might be further targeted by the person they were trying to attack. You know, it can be often disadvantageous to them. But in the instance of say somebody who just decides that, oh, you know what, I'm gonna take out a bunch of people. My idea of why people do that is over time, you know, people get bullied. But the curiosity is what does bullying start from? Bullying is actually a lack of proper parental or guardian or teacher or guidance. So, you know, the reality is a lot of this, hey Kay, a lot of this stuff is going on in a school setting, right? And so I do a little analysis on the school setting. I see what you know, what's actually going on there. What, you know, and my feeling is sensation, as you guys know. I do. You know, some people don't have answers. You know, like I was listening to Joe Rogan. His reaction was inconclusive. But me, you know, what I do is I say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pick up this trash here. Hey, Frederick. I say, hey, wait a second. When there's bullying and aggression in an environment, it's often because there's competition, and that can often the source of competition can be mixed gender situations, and especially when you are dealing with people who their basic needs are taken care of, and so it's kind of they have kind of a skewed perspective on reality. It's not really a complete. It's not like, oh, I gotta work hard to, you know, make my life the way it is. It's not about race either. Fair concern though. No, I think it's about having men and women together, in particular younger men and women who really have limited self-control. And, you know, when you put men and women together, even adults, there can often be a sexual anxiety. There can be a tension where they try to impress each other. And it's not a pleasant thing. It's not a warm thing. I certainly don't think it's conducive to an educational environment. And so my concept is that action steps to take. First of all, even if the person's young, I think they should be, or mentally ill, I still think they should be executed, because we need to have a zero tolerance policy. Same with, you know, people who are pedophiles and they act upon their impulses. Take them out, get them out of society, let them reincarnate. You know, we don't need that energy in our environment. These are my opinions. I also have other opinions. I feel that as far as people people, hey Miss Ivory, as far as people going to, sorry, I guess I went the wrong way there. As far as you know, people give, like, the whole idea of giving people EBT and help for housing, I think that's a bad idea as well. You know, I feel like you should never empower somebody with that type of choice. If you want to help them, give them, literally offer them food or shelter directly. Don't give them choices to choose, like what they you know, that they can choose what type of food that they're going to buy. I think that's totally inconsistent with reality. Have a food truck drop off maybe a bag of rice and beans, etc. Low cost food, instead of people spending hard-earned people's dollars on costly food. And unfortunate news for people who enjoy meat and dairy. I'm a proponent, I like that people can enjoy what they want in a free society, but you have to get the reality checks of it. It's a burden to society. A lot of these products they're not healthy, and they result in cancer. But enjoy what you will, but just make sure you're not later burdening people with costs of your medical care. Number one, and number two, the worst thing is that a lot of meat, if you actually look at the stats, you can Google it. The first thing Google says is that meat is subsidized by over $40 billion on an annual basis in the United States. And for fruit and vegetables, it's only about 20. And that's not billion, but that's 20 million. So it's a small fraction of the amount. And that just gives you a red flag that says that, if you're consuming a food, is it subsidized? Are other people helping to pay for your food, your meat? You go into McDonald's, burger costs so much. If you look at the numbers, it actually costs more. It's even more costly. And like I said, I fucking always put a precedent on people. I'm not about stopping people from hunting or fucking all this stuff about save the animals. Fuck that. I say save the people. Let the people, we work together as a people. But I'm just want to encourage people to have some awareness. Maybe eat less of meat and dairy. There are tasty substitutes like and ground sea salt makes a nice substitute for butter, for example. What else? Also, I use coconut oil on my skin. I think it's a very versatile product. You can use it on your in your mouth and also remember self-massage, not just masturbation, but kneading yourself, like as in kneading the muscles, as in NEEDING. I'm going a little off topic here though, but in a way I'm not, because all these mentalities of positive and healthiness and self-responsibility, not hoping others will be nice to you, but taking care of yourself. Hey, worshiper. There's only so much I can do for Mr. G. I just took I'd say a pretty big risk of my time and money to try and update his apartment, and he's got to make his decisions, and I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll be compelled to action. I feel like I can't, how much can I support him? And he's trying to, with all these cats and everything, like it's a costly endeavor, what he's pursuing. And he also likes meat and dairy products, which are expensive. It's not that I'm against people exercising their rights or their freedoms. I'm concerned that he's spending inconsistent with his budgetary options, from cigarettes to marijuana to meat and dairy to trying to help the cats to I don't know what other expenditures he makes, but it is what it is. I can't, there's really nothing I can do except be a good example of what to do. Right now I'm looking out for myself. I told him that I'd help him with his phone bill if he had nothing left, but even doing that, then what's he going to do next month? He's just going to, spend more money on his cats and on the costly, like, for example, Yeah, even the vodka, I think somebody donated for that, but nonetheless, he could have purchased something less costly. I don't know. All I do know is, I can't be burdened by other people right now. Even if I want to help them out, I really can't afford to. I've got to manage my own affairs, and I already spent the 70 on supplies and about $200 worth of my time, about 10 hours. I spent fixing the apartment. But in any case, guys, I'll try and get to the subject at hand, and then do a little light work, and then a little conclusion. Um, and in any case, hey Billy, yeah, I'm about to return to work, uh, but like I said, guys, I'm just walking around town. Um, okay, so on suicide, people. The reason people commit suicide is because they're wanting to make another somebody feel bad and attack them, and do it with that action. So instead, isolate yourself, get yourself away from people, learn to trust yourself, feel good about yourself. You know, um, uh, what else? Commit suicide for good reasons, like your body's no longer serving you. It's time to boost out of here. Trying to, um, trying to get into a new body. But as far as the school shootings go, people get angry, and um, but you don't realize that when you hurt people, it usually negatively affects your life. It could put you in jail, get you killed. It just interfere with your ability to have a fun life. And if you think your body is unhealthy and attractive, maybe people make fun of you because you're mentally or physically limited. Um, you have to have a transcendental God view of looking at everything. And yeah, the educational system itself, like, is it such a good idea? I think a lot of the information represented, and taught is almost miscellaneous. It doesn't really have applicable realities, and that's one of the reasons I'm not inclined to have children, at least if within the next few years, or don't recommend people have children. Maybe take a break from children for 5 years, because there's some ugly things going on in the world, and I think I live probably the most luxurious life, even though I live outside and stuff. I'm away from fucking fluoride, 5G, negative people. I have a true sense of space, a sense of self, and I'm healthy physically and mentally. Yeah, Billy, I understand that, but I'm just saying, in principle, like in the future, or to advise to others to encourage them to avoid. Um, and another big problem is, good one, corporations. Another big issue, guys, is this idea that the state can have so much authority and compel parents that they have to. Good one, Billy. I'll address that soon enough. It's this idea that the government compels and requires and obligates people to take care of their children. The truth being, dude, my knee. I hope that's in jest. Try to XFS. I'm not sure what that is all about, but all I know is I try to try to do what I can to uplift people to the extent that I'm able, including Mr. G and others. But in any case, like I was saying, guys, if when somebody takes care of another person, they're giving them their energy, and then it's the parent's responsibility for what's the term? They're an accessory to helping the child do what they do. If the child, for example, does a mass shooting, it's because they had the either money to get the weapons, or access, or They had the fucking energy to do it. They had a sleep place to sleep and eat, so they could plan it and figure it out. Um, yeah, Billy, I like. I'm not sure why you're saying Mr. G, Billy, but what I will say is that yeah, I consider myself to be very aware, and part of that I think is just because I spend a lot of time by myself doing a little analysis on the world, and actually figure out my it's the difference between wanting to see a therapist and wanting to have control and write down your thoughts and figure them out for yourselves. As far as the soul, I think if you do DMT, or you don't even have to do that, you just have to read about out of body experiences, past life regression therapy. Uh, you know, just the fucking fact that it's consciousness. Where do you think all these people keep coming from life, one lifetime to the next, from reincarnation, reincarnation beyond? I empower people to be their own final authority. I resent the idea of that Christianity promotes of monarchy and submission and dominance, father son, fucking savior and poor fucking sheeple. Fuck that, dude. I'm not waiting for fucking no one, dude. I'm gonna improve the world in the capacity that I'm able. All that whole fucking religion, all it does is promulgate the idea of submission and dominance in different areas of life, and not taking responsibility for your own life and improvement of the world. Uh, Mr. Chris, I prefer the idea of being my own person, not labeling somebody as a father. I like the idea of labeling people as friends. Uh, Actually, that's not true, my knee. Think about it. In the Bible, it suggests that he's going to come back and be a king and dominate and rule the earth, and kill people of other religions and homosexual persons, and just be this, fucking whatever it is. But the fucking irony is that that's not a real world situation. The idea that somebody can miraculously perform miracles and that doesn't really apply to the real world. The real world is about science and generational improvement of actually people living on Earth and figuring stuff out. All right, so in any case, I wanted to, wrap it up soon, but I'm glad that you guys at least tuning in, looking at some points of view here. So bottom line is the school shootings, part of it is the environment. People shouldn't be forced to go to school. Parents shouldn't be forced to take care of children. If the kids are acting crazy, they should be able to kick them out, so that they're not. Because if you give somebody food and shelter, you're responsible for their actions. In addition, Mr. Billy, that's an idea. Feel free to email me. And Billy, of course, in ideal situations, yourself and your daughter will, get along and you'll be on the same page. But that really takes into question the concept of love. Like, what is love? Is love commitment to an ideal? Is love just as a result of a biological DNA similarity? The idea of toxicity in human nature, that's all about self-control and wanting power over other people instead of taking power over yourself. Yeah, good one, I stand. And fantastic. Billy, no. No, I don't have any firearms. I do have pepper spray and a staff and a flashlight. And the bottom line is when people have this idea of, oh, I want bodyguards, oh, I want to be tough, this, that. If you're fucking in a place where you think you need bodyguards or fucking, a gun or body armor or whatever, you probably should avoid being in that place to the extent that you're able. Second Amendment, I think that's the right to bear arms. I do believe in that. I think part of life is laws of the jungle, like avoiding people you don't know, avoiding wrong place at wrong time, dark place, and a lot of people bend those rules by getting drunk. And I think, unfortunately, I think they get reality checked. In things like school shootings. Like, if people avoided people and weren't verbally or physically harassing people and making each other angry, then that wouldn't lead to these school shootings. So what it is, but my first solution, like I was saying, just make segregated schooling for not co-ed, just for one for men, one for women, and teach subjects more relevant to real world situations, not abstract miscellaneous information like, oh, we fucking, you know, dissected a frog, or we fucking, um, just stuff that doesn't pertain to concrete reality, money earning, financial, you know, stability and responsibility, and etc. And learning abstract words and math equations that won't be useful. Instead, maybe you're learning more practical words, maybe teaching people how to build websites, etc., etc. Things are changing, but we have to be aware of, don't just make things random. Uh, Billy, I just took time to. That's an intelligent concept, my knee. The idea of teenagers uh, being slaves to lower chakra energy, especially when. Okay, here's the bottom fucking line, guys. When somebody else is giving you your food and shelter, you get messed up in the psyche. I think that's in part an influence of mental illness. In fact, when I was younger, I think I was mentally ill, disturbed, simply because I was a little spoiled by, even though my parental guardians meant well, they, to be spoiled, it messes up the mind. When you have to meet your basic needs, and it's concrete and absolute, whether it's via chores or, earning your money, you have a healthier, more mature mentality. Uh, and I talk a lot more about all this on thenewrelationships.com. Again, that's thenewrelationships.com. I prefer the term guardians. I'm very selective about the way I speak and my semantics and how I describe people in my life. But in any case, guys, I think I should wrap it up here. Do a little positive visualization. Uh, just imagine a brilliant white. Oh, Billy Hill's in the chat. Awesome, man. Just imagine a brilliant sphere of white light here, guys. Incredibly bright. And just go like this and beam yourself for a second. Laser beam of white light going through. Now beam any children that you're concerned about or imagine them smiling and grabbing the light. It's especially useful if you can do a two-person light work session. You want to beam somebody's third eye, and that kind of activates it and protects the pineal gland from evil forces or a demon entering somebody's pineal gland. And of course, doing light work on your bed, you can imagine a beam of light streaking through your bed, beam the walls of your bedroom, and just make it a positive place. Hey there, NVT. Hey, Lynn. But yeah, guys, it just, people have these kind of false concepts, and they get distracted by internet porn or the fucking Hollywood, whatever. That's not real representations of real life. That's kind of fantasies and abstractions, and the reality being that each life is unique. People have unique attractions. People's dreams are very unique, and thus they should be much more selective about who they give their energy to for themselves and their dream mate. And it's all about being royal. It's all about experiencing richness. You cannot do that unless you are wanting to be your own authority. So I'm glad glad for you guys thinking about it, considering some viewpoints, doing a little light work. Remember, you can do 5 people. I recommend doing, you can even beam right where you are. I can ride the beam light streaking all the way through this. Michael's suggesting that he disapproves of my content. It's just every shooter does different style of IRL, and you know yeah. Firstly, Michael, I would encourage, if you want to be taken more seriously, that you present yourself in a real picture of yourself and a more formalized name. And you're labeling me as bro or brother. I would you really consider yourself that? It's all about precision, and you sound like you might be in a negative space. If you were in a positive or nice environment, you probably wouldn't be so hard in your commentary. I don't think it's rational for somebody to put so much negative energy into something when what do you enjoy doing, Mr. Michael? Go do something that you enjoy. And the Michael, the idea of rich and poor, I think there are different terminologies of it. Maybe you have some business advice for me, which could be positive, constructive, which I might be receptive to. And I'm sure that even if you disagree with 10 of my ideas, that one of them, they're different. Like, you might want to elaborate on if you are rich, maybe you have a revelation on a secret to financial stability. There are different types of intelligences and abilities out there, and you may have one of those, but instead of trying to see yourself as being better, like that's like the equivalent of me saying that, oh, I'm a brilliant guy and everyone's stupid. I don't think that. I think that I have specialized knowledge in relationships and those types of dynamics. But as far as other aspects of life, like finances, business, I may be lacking and not as skilled. And you're welcome to present whatever opinions you have. Tony is saying, I don't think he was rated for I don't think he was accused of being a pedophile. Can somebody in the chat confirm that? Is that true? Let's see. Yeah, let's help Mr. Michael transcend that and flip the negative into a positive, guys. He's saying nobody is confirmed why the raid occurred. There's been speculation. Okay, that makes sense. I'm married to my dreams, quote unquote, and it's such a powerful statement to make when you're going into an environment and say, I'm committed to myself and respecting other people and wanting good for them, not wanting to seduce them. Let's see. But in any case, as far as Mr. Ice is concerned, I both sent him numerous Twitter messages promoting fun ideas for the streamer house. I also emailed him. I acknowledged that it was a mix-up, and I think he and SJC dealt with it well. They thought I might be a potential questionable person, and they treated me accordingly, and I'm okay with that. But they didn't follow up with an acknowledgement of, hey, you know what, you're actually a good guy, JR. You're glad you're doing IRL and being part of the community. That never occurred, and so I would hope that Mr. Ice takes a look at actual people that really sincerely tried to help him and add to his operation instead of just exclusively wanting to benefit from his clout. That may be the case, that he may be serving time, Billy. Let's hold on before we too quick to target Michael. Let's flip it into a positive. Um, let's flip it into Mr. Michael. At least he's a confident guy. At least he's not a wimp. Some people will just say nothing even if they disagree with me or they're upset at me. But he apparently Billy has inside information. Yeah, no. I'm just. All we have to do for Michael, we could just, compel him. Like, Michael, if you think you're a rich guy, then talk to us. Tell us how to be rich. Just like meet me at the same place. Just like I'm trying to empower people to have more enlightened. Be more enlightened spiritually. I think I'm an expert at that. That's my opinion that I'm an expert, but I really do. Uh, in any case, Zantastic is suggesting, okay, ISA will do a revelation and breakdown in a few days. We'll be tuned into that. Uh, Zantastic, the whole glasses thing. I feel like he already paid, the security guard paid me back for that. But the reality is, guys, if we do analysis and we're realistic about the situation, we know that because of my and Mr. G's arrival to the mansion, people tuned in and they profited, and so there should be some type of acknowledgement for, oh, Billy Hill has a connection with in the government, the FBI. That's interesting. But yeah, it's not a question of holding a grudge, because that would limit me and distract me mentally. That's why I do this visualizations of smiling people and stuff. Uh, However, I do have to be realistic and say to myself, what is, if I'm doing IRL, what is this guy's relationship to me, Mr. Paul Danino, and could it be a constructive one? Could it be beneficial? Hey, Alan. All right, so yeah, just a more serious show. You know, uh, Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes I might be with Mr. G doing stuff. Right now, I'm just taking care of some stuff. Daily chores, daily life activities, and we will. Thanks for the encouragements, Billy. I like to provide my opinions. I think they're well thought out. I don't just do this randomly. I take notes and I think of things. I do some research, then I go on the show. Uh, I think a side note worth considering is that, um, apparently Mr. Jordan Peterson has been receiving some resistance for being um, counter SJW, and even he was banned from New Zealand. His bookshelves, his books, some places they banned him because they thought because he has a chapter that discusses mass shootings and transcending that darkness in man. But I think there's an interesting agenda against him, and I'm really a proponent of his general principles of being a responsible person, but more specifically, how you identify yourself, not as, oh, I'm government, I'm Democrat, Republican, I'm white, black, I'm gay or not, so I should receive rights or benefits in consideration of that. Instead, just identifying yourself as, I'm an individual, I'm a competent person, uh, and I respect other people, and it's all about identifying as a global citizen, a human being, and a just a person. And power, see, the ego. Okay. Thanks, Billy. In due time. Uh, like I was saying, guys. What was I saying exactly? Taking a deep breath, relaxing. Okay, the ego, in conclusion to all this talk of school shootings, the ego tells you that it's cool to seduce people, to manipulate people, to be rude, to curse, to be unfriendly. But it's actually more powerful to get away from the situation, extract yourself, and flip it into a positive. Not it's more powerful and indicative of self-control to be nice and want good for people. So, and the fucking problem with the school shooting, at the end of the day, guys, is the fucking environment. It's not the people, okay? People, when you're in a closed quarter environment, co-ed environment, especially youth, you're going to create anxieties, sexual tension, conflict, because people like space and privacy. They don't like to be bunched around. And then to be having all this miscellaneous information being taught at the schools, that's offensive. Oh, you've got to get good grades. Fucking bullshit, dude. You've got to be your own teacher. You've got to do your own investigations, research, and fucking figure out. Just make sure that this world and this country does not become socialist, and all big government and big pharma. Oh, let's promote fucking healthcare for everyone. Guess what that does? That puts a bunch of people looking towards medicine and other people, doctors, quote unquote, to help you fucking do something you can already readily do yourself, including but not limited to eating healthy and engaging in good habits and practices. Thanks for considering, guys. Hey, Geezy, Miss Lynn. Uh, there are gray areas like Social Security, paying into that, but the more extreme stuff like giving people food or giving people money for food and housing, bad idea. Never do that. I'll only give them actual food and actual housing, preferably low cost. Thanks for considering, guys, and till next time, remember, you guys can on your own just visualize a few people that, in fact, I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. Hey, Magic, I don't see why that bears relevance to the discussion. The implication being that I am not at 100% discernment and I'm not collected. What are you specifically referring to? Well said, NVT. So yeah, let's just imagine a couple people you're upset at. Let's say somebody at work, or maybe you don't know what to do at work. Maybe you don't know what to do with your job. Fucking visualize brilliant white light. Okay, imagine the tools you use at your work. Beam them. Imagine you're beaming them with a laser beam, like your hand is a wand. Okay, you beam at your tools. Like for me, for example, I use a Mega Boom. I do my DJ thing. Yeah, you're right, Lynn. Thanks, fantastic. Yeah, in any case, guys, so just visualize that brilliant white light. All right, beaming the tools you have. They may be actual tools. You may work at a computer. Beam your computer. All right, and then start to beam the environment around that. See people grabbing the light, grabbing the brilliant beams of white light and putting them into yourself. Yeah, this is my channel, NVT. And just blast the light around. Now imagine another person you might be upset at work, and it's not useful for you to harbor a repetitive thought of somebody upset. All it does is negative imagery in your head, and that attracts the wrong stuff. You know what I mean? So you want to program your subconscious mind with stuff that you want. So just imagine this negative person happy. It doesn't mean you have to even be friendly to them or be around them, but it does mean that you have to control what's actually going on in here, because this is, I believe, like a satellite dish or something. It's just this is what we use, guys. It's a tool to attract things from in the spiritual realm. And so attract what you want. Attract smiling people. Imagine somebody, just for a moment, imagine somebody. Let's see. How do I deal with the negativity? Well, just realize that it was by design. You can't have joy and successes and fun without difficulties. Thanks, fantastic. Yeah, I used to display different personas on on IRL. Maybe you were uninspired or by part of what I portrayed, but I try to be transparent and likable. Part of it has to be being honest. If I'm not honest, Billy, at the end of the day, I mean, I think with these days science and whatnot, we can live indefinitely. You know, but but as far as if your body's not serving you, why stay another 5 years just suffering? Why not end it quickly so you don't have to burden yourself upon other people? But yeah, thanks for considering, guys. We had a good little session here, and I'll be back. My goal is to do between half an hour to an hour little news breakdowns every day, little light work, little ideas. Let's see. Thanks, Zentastic. All right, guys, I'm exiting out of here. Continue on the day. You guys make it a good day too. See what you can do to maximize control over your life.